In a world where, holy cow, that's so badass, the animation is so good, it's almost like none of the story actually matters. Anyway, in a world where dungeon gates pop up randomly filled with monsters that are apparently immune to all conventional weapons, like, just imagine a level 1 goblin brushing aside a tactical nuke. Yep, so we gotta kill them with swords and spears, but magical ones. Only certain people are born with magical capabilities and no one can change their power levels. Yet. Our boy, Sun Jinu, is your typical self-insert protagonist who starts off weaker than anyone and no one respects him, just like you. But unlike you, he still has a beautiful girl healer who cares deeply for him and a younger sister who cares a normal amount for him. This is definitely the most unrealistic part of the show. God damn it, why am I getting jealous over a self-insert character? Ugh. Jinu apparently can't find a better job other than to be the worst hunter ever and almost die every day while getting no loot. He probably majored in comp sci after the pandemic or something. Jinu and friends get trapped and members keep getting one shot until Jinu realizes that all you have to do is follow the rules on the wall. Apparently that's hard to realize. I guess everyone else was brain dead. Holy cow, that's so badass! Jinu ends up sacrificing himself to save the others, but instead of dying, he gets reborn with video game HUD and mechanics. It's 2024, so obviously you can't have video game mechanics without loot boxes. He gains the ability to level up by doing daily tasks. Man, those pesky developers wanting higher player retention. Ugh. Jinu grinds levels and quickly becomes overpowered. Then he spends the rest of the show either grinding more or swooping in to save the day. Unbeatable monster, Jinu's got you covered. New dungeon raid with teammates who secretly want to murder you? No problem, Jinu swoops in to solo the dungeon boss and the murderers. New dungeon raid again, this time with a psychopathic murderer? No problem, Jinu swoops in to solo the dungeon boss and the murderer. Wait, isn't this exactly the same as before? Holy cow, he's so badass! To end off the season, Jinu goes through his job change dungeon where he can't use potions, but that's okay because all he needs is raw determination. Man, that's so cliche. Holy cow, he's so badass. Then he gets swarmed and for once he can't determination his way out. With no potions and no determination left, all that's left is plot armor. Jinu gets briefly teleported to a pocket dimension because he failed to do his daily tasks. This allows him to use potions and fully recover. He then returns and defeats all his enemies with ease. Finally, Jinu gets his job change and becomes, even to his surprise, a necromancer. Then he says the super famous line, "Arise," and resurrects Igris, the enemy knight from earlier in the dungeon. Alright, that concludes the main story beats, so it's time for some rapid fire minor details that basically exist to foreshadow future stuff. Let's go. First, this girl, Cha Hae-in, exists. She doesn't do much, but there ain't no way they spend this much budget on a side character, right? Wink wink. This rich boy, Yu Jin-ho, gets saved by the protagonist in the first encounter with murderers, then teams up with him to try to create a guild. This man is the brother of one of the murderers who tried to kill Jinu, but Jinu killed the murderer, so now his brother wants revenge. At some point, Jinu discovers the recipe for an elixir of life that might be able to save his mom, but the ingredients are all locked behind a really tough dungeon, so this is his next goal. In the past, some horrible disaster happened on Jeju Island, and now this guy assembled the strongest hunters in Japan to return to the island once again. Now, time for my thoughts. This show was really fun to watch. The story is not deep nor groundbreaking, and all of the characters are pretty shallow, but that's okay. Just as the manhwa was carried by its incredible art and colors, this show is carried by super well animated fight sequences and a hype soundtrack. The world and game mechanics are cool enough to make you want to keep watching to find out Jinu's next upgrade, yet simple enough to never be confusing or distracting. This way, you can spend all of your attention anticipating for Jinu to reveal his true power and Uno reverse card new unexpected enemies. This is basically all he does on repeat, but it never gets old. 8 out of 10.